No, I just want to get this clear. Nadi ke tsa gore Taudona ga bua. O bua ka rona ba botlhe members of parliament. So it looks like ka re referral to this side. Ne ke tsa gore wa re ga o le mo parliament sonze ro bo tla go tla go offer a solution. Tota ne ke le ke tlo go botsa potso hele tlhameletse a Taudona a o ke moratang thata. A wa re ga sela ka re nna mo parliament ga gona solution e pegile ra e offer that you can just mention and say nya but it's not enough. Ska ga nna ke to ka re yano wa re hela wa re ga gona solution e re offer ni a se re tsana e le gore batho no tle ba re tlhophela eng.
Mr. President.
Context. Without context, you get lost. I was wrestling with the submissions of the leader of the opposition. And if there's anybody who could make that complaint, it would be him. But he's not here to make the protest. Maybe you're protesting on his behalf. But the point I make, as I said, covers all of us, yourself included, despite the fact that I hold a very firm view that you are part of the problem you caused in your failure to speak out. You were complicit in the creation of the situation we are in. But I'm not going to deal with that now. The point I was making was that we need to...
Point of order.
Point of order, Honorable Pule.
Yeah, no, Taudona no kana ora ro tlhaselane. Kra re you. Ora you Mabuse Pule. I think Taudona is also mo tseleng ga itano bitsa nna ka sebele gore ke buditse potso. Kra re ke a itse I was part of the previous regime me. Ga sona re ga bua ba re wena e bile.
Yeah, Honorable Pule, ke tsa re mo tseleng kana mo debating ya gore ora tata o ipuelela o mo debating ya gore kana no le bonthabo ja puso e hitile e ka ha buang ka teng e khositse mathata mangwe a ta buang kana a kile a buiwa ke ba ga bone ka ya no a go molato gore a go supe ke gore ile maloba Honorable Pule ka ha o ka kwa ithothora gore no le bonthabo ja puso e hitile le gore go ta tsama go ntse go supega yalo mo di debating. Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Nyame a ke go ntse ka le solo go ke ne ke tlhalosa seemo sa seboka se o no le karolo ya sona tota ke ska re seboka o ka re ke khabisa thata se gopa se no le karolo ya sona se se rukutileng itsholelo
Clarification.
ne ke sa iko aga se gopa go
One of order, Mr. Speaker.
One of order, Honorable Pule.
Ya Taudona no ntse o gatela go pele me kana wa itse gore ke motho ke motho tlanta ya no ga re bitsa se gopa a tota kana gore se gopa Mr. Speaker o ra batho ba senang sense of purpose gore ele batho hela kana ditsie so ke le sotlo that is very it is derogatory gore bore motho o tshwana le nna go ke se gopa ke ra re ne go paro go peta o duna go le fugo la o morago la se gopa a dire se le go ka le lengwe la re lwana.
Mr. President ba ro ska ba khopisa
ma ke go khotsohatse ke re ke boele le go la se gopa morago o no le bonthabongwe ja ba phuthegi ba bane ba phuthegetse ne ke heta jalo Jano, the real issue is, and so in relation to the health crisis, the health system, I thought I tried to explain during the State of the Nation address the kind of difficulties over a long period of time.
Clarification.
Can I make the point and then you'll clarify it?
Clarification of Lucas.
Mr. Speaker. Ne ke re ke a go utlwa Tautona gore o remeletse thata mo gore batho ba teka ka di solution ba thuse gore re chart the way forward for this country me se gongwe motho a ka se lemogang tautona ke gore you are a very difficult person to advise. Maybe la hangwe ke tukutu bua gore constitution ebile ya go letella to advise yourself. You are a very difficult person to advise because advice engwe le engwe e lebega e goroga mo go wena. O lebega ona le ability e hakamatsa ya go inyatsa le go ikgagolaka le go inyenyehatsa. We have seen you, Mr. President. Re go bona mo dikganyeng o nyenyehatsa babega dikgang lo one ma parlamente wa ne a uta ba tshega yana. We to nyenyehatsa lo one parliament. In the past ke le ra go uta gape o nyenyehatsa le one judiciary. I think you are a very difficult person to advise. Ha ngwa re go khobelle dikgang o to bona ro tsaya mo go tsone. Le ha tsele le go hile puso go re tsamaise right.
Mr. President.
Hey, you must always love and respect a leader who is difficult to advise, because it means that's a leader who reflects, who agonizes. Every solution that you present is subjected to the most rigorous examination and scrutiny, so that when it is accepted, it has been tested. That is why, in the context of the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, they had a specialized arrangement. They call it labs, laboratories, where all ideas, they received 6,000. They whittled them down to 186 after a process of rigorous scrutiny. Subjected the 186 to further probing until they were satisfied that these ideas, these advices are worthy of implementation. That is exactly the same frame of mind I operate on. And if that is being difficult, then I'm guilty as charged, and I won't change. Any idea that you gave an idea last time I was here, we must tax the rich more. 35%. I did not dismiss your idea. I said it will be placed and collocated with other ideas seeking to address the same problem. Because in my training, there's something called a means-ends calculus. The means that you deploy must be properly suited to the attainment of the ends that you envision. If there's a disconnect between the means and the ends, then you are not moving. And that is why every leader must be the most difficult person to advise, because he also must have the presence of mind to distill, to engage, to rigorously examine every piece of advice. The better then, not only to internalize and appreciate, but to guide implementation. So yes, I'm a very difficult person to advise, deliberately. And a leader must be exactly like that. Now, the issues I was making, and the simple proposition is that let's focus on providing solutions, and you did an admirable job of laying a suggestion on the table that will be taken up and examined. And I was also saying in response to Memada, that sometimes we as leaders fail to lead and create excuses and say the people will be left behind. The people are ahead of us. And in fact, as we stand here, you know that the president can give citizenship without, you know that. But here's a president who says, I want a structured and organized arrangement, which is not in exercise of the powers that already vest, to just give. I could do it, but I want it to be properly structured so that it is subjected to an internationally recognized process of rigorous assessment and distillation. These applicants are subjected not just to our own vetting process here through the DIS. There's a whole complex layer rigorous assessments, at the end of which then the names are submitted to us, not as a finished product, but to say yay or nay. This is what it is. And so tweaking what already exists, structuring it and giving it some valence is not leaving the people behind. It had been determined long ago, not maybe even before I was born. That meant probably the year he was born, 1966, when this independence constitution was given to us as an addendum to the order in council of 1893 in England, when they gave us the constitution. They had already determined that citizenship would be operated in this manner. I am saying, let us re-examine this in the context of the challenge that we have of bringing in credible investors, not women and men of straw. And the applications that have been received in the initial phase show us people who are, in terms of their personal worth, 10 million and above US dollars. Do we need such investors in the country? Of course we do. Can the president, as I stand here, give citizenship to some of those? Yes, he can. Why isn't he doing it? Because he wants to take everybody along so that we understand and we structure it so that it has absolutely no semblance of arbitrariness. This is the point. So let me proceed then. And there are many issues that were raised. Government waste and cost cutting. Sure, you know that is underway. I've dealt with the citizenship by investment. These people are investors. I heard somebody say they will be queuing with us at SEDA. No. These are investors. They are coming here to plant their capital, to invest, and to have the comfort of enjoying the place where their investments are planted. This is what we are looking at. And of course, I am open to ideas and suggestions from yourselves. Now, there's the question of parliamentary independence and oversight. And this is a profound question, because it is one that will bulk large in the constitutional debate. This independence of parliament, emanating from a separation of powers, where parliament, the legislature, must be separated from the executive, and all these must be separated from the judiciary. Now, that separation does not seem to mean much as between the executive and the legislature, because the members of the executive are predominantly drawn from the legislature. So there's been a blurring of lines there. And so in the unfolding constitutional debate, we're going to have to reflect carefully on whether we want a strict separation between the executive and the legislature. That is the first thing. The second thing is this, that if we have this separation, we will now be going, without any doubt, a route or route, as the Americans say, called presidentialism. We are running a hybrid system here, presidential parliamentary. In a parliamentary system such as the UK operates, parliament is supreme. In a presidential system, there is no way in which the president is not supreme. The president is supreme. That is why President Trump operates on executive orders. That is why he can wake up today and fire people. That is why he can bully, if he wants, everybody. It's a presidential system. It vests immense powers on the president. And that is the presidential system. And the president will be elected. Let me finish this point so that you can then engage. The president will be elected separately from the current dispensation. Now, when a president who has been elected by campaigning throughout the country and winning stands next to a member of parliament who's campaigned in Okavango, and the member of parliament says, I want you to do this, the president says, no. You represent a small pocket, I represent the whole country. I'm not going to listen to you. What do you say? Where's the balance? How do you moderate the runaway powers of a presidential system? This is a debate. These are questions, the answers to which do not need to be fudged. We need to reflect carefully. Because the Israeli author, a guy called Noah, not Salaka, Noah Yuval Harari. Noah Yuval Harari is the guy who wrote that book called Homo Sapiens. He wrote another one, the penultimate one, it's called Homo Deus, man God. He says man has reached the level of God now. Man is able to clone and create animals, human beings. Man is at the level of artificial intelligence. Man is a creator. He's God. Now they can even prolong your life. They can use stem cell to regrow some of your organs. Man is now God. That's why Yuval Harari says, Homo Deus, man God. Man is God now. But he's written in another one, the latest, called Nexus. He says, never, ever summon powers you cannot control. Now, in paving the route that we want to pave to a proper constitution, let us be mindful that we do not pave the way to hell. Why? Because the way to hell was also paved with the most honest of intentions. Let us be mindful that we do not summon powers we will not be able to control. I yield.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.